It's the Black Real Estate Dialogue. Tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in. If you're someone who lives in an area where it's so expensive to buy real estate and you feel like it's impossible, then I have something for you. I just released a free guide that's going to give you the 8 steps you need to take to buy your first out-of-state property. I bought several properties out of state, living in California, investing in Ohio, and you could do the same. It's just a matter of having the right information. So click the link in the description of this episode to get your free guide today. There's this debate. We see it every day. Some people, yeah, I'm buying on the MLS at retail. That's it. That's what I want to do. Whereas other people are like, well, you should be looking for discounted properties in distress. Can you talk about your thoughts on that further and just the advantages of buying distressed properties or properties at a discount?
Right. So I think that whether you're buying a property on an MLS, retail, or off market, I think the number one thing is the numbers have to make sense for you. It has to make sense, right? Because listen, people are still buying deals on the MLS, right? I know developers that are building new construction and buying deals on the MLS for sure, and they're making money. But I think that the numbers have to make sense for you. So for example, for me, I'm a developer, but I don't have my own in-house crew. So a developer that is building new construction can have his crew in-house, and the project budget would come under my budget because I'm using a general contractor. So for him, he may be able to offer 10 grand more on a property where I can't do that because I know I have to use a general contractor and pay that contractor. So the numbers have to make sense. I think the advantage of buying a property off market is that you typically are buying a property at a discounted price, right? And when you're buying it off market, now let me say this. If you're buying it off market and you're handling the deal, then you have more options. But sometimes you can buy from a wholesaler, which is totally fine as well too. It's just that the wholesaler in that case is managing the entire deal, right? So I think the advantage of buying it off market is that you should get it at a discounted price. And in doing it that way, you begin to build, rapport and relationships with other people. So that way you can say, hey, you got any more off market deals? Let me know. Send them my way. So I think, the advantage of buying off market is finding it at a discounted price and then having more options with it being off market.
Love it. Love it. And there are so many resources out there, so many softwares and things of that nature. What are your top ways that, let's say, the last year, especially with everything that's been changing in the real estate world, what are some ways you've been able to still source some of those off-market deals lately?
Yeah, so I'm really big on using data, right? So data is a great way to find deals, meaning like you're looking at properties that could be tax delinquent. You're looking at properties that may have a lien on them, right? So I use Propstream. So you can use Propstream. I do have like a 7-day free trial. You can go to datafromjustin.com and get a 7-day free trial of Propstream. So Propstream is a data source where it filters like, tax delinquent in a certain zip code. It can look at senior owners, foreclosures, things of that nature. So Propstream is a good data point. I think the other piece is driving for dollars. So driving for dollars is when you're driving around or could be walking around and you're looking for properties that look distressed or vacant lots, right? And then from there, you're doing some research and you're contacting a property owner and seeing if they want to sell. Now, this is definitely hard work. So it's not like you're going to get a deal right away. It takes consistency, hard work, knowing how to talk to the owner, knowing how to find the owner. So those are all things you have to really figure out. But those are the strategies that I'm using to find off-market deals. Now, once you start building your business, you can then hire staff to say, hey, I used to do this. I'm going to train you on how to drive for dollars. Now I'm going to outsource it. I'm going to give it to you. And now they're doing it for you.
Love it. Love it. One of the things you mentioned was tax delinquent properties. So in that situation, if you're on Propstream, for instance, and it's showing X house has, I don't know, 20,000 in back taxes. If you get in touch with that owner, are you like, how do you settle that 20,000? And then take over the property? Like how would you approach that?
So I typically will tell the owner that my offer includes any debt on the property, right? So the owner is going to pay the debt off at closing, not out of their own pocket, but out of the proceeds of the sale. So for example, in that scenario where you say the property owner or the property is tax delinquent by 20 grand, if I offer you 40 grand, right? At closing, you're getting $20,000 because the 20 for the tax delinquent is coming out of the sales price. So that's how I structure it that way. Now, there's some cases where if you wanted to be creative with it, let's just say, for example, the owner did not want any money back at the table, right? They just wanted to get rid of it, right? Or no. Let's say this. Let's say the owner only wanted that 20K, right, at closing, right? They didn't really care about the tax delinquent debt. They just wanted 20K at closing. But obviously you care about it. What you could do is you still offer 40, right? And what you do is you bring the 20 to the table, but then you work out a payment plan with the city and pay their taxes off, monthly. So that way you don't have to bring the extra 20 to the table, right? So you're buying the property subject to any liens on the property. So that's like kind of like creative financing in a sense.
Gotcha. I haven't heard that one before with the making the tax payments. Typically, I've heard people mention the first scenario, but I think that's wow. That's pretty mind blowing, man. So when a property is in tax trouble, do you find that an owner is more willing to sell it at a better price to you because perhaps they can't afford this to settle it? Like, do you find that they can be more flexible in terms of the price in that scenario?
I think they are, yes. But I do think there's also about, peeling back the layers of pain, right? Well, how much pain do they have? Like really trying to figure out not only, their pain, but how can I serve them? How can I heal their pain? Right. I think that's important to build rapport and not just do it for yourself, right? But you're actually doing it to help them overcome some obstacle, right? So if somebody has a vacant property and it's tax delinquent and it's like, I don't know what to do with it, but I don't want to lose it. You're coming in as their savior in the sense of you're buying a property and they get a profit at the end. It may not be what they wanted, but obviously it's better to sell the property or to buy the property and they sell it to you and get a profit versus like you losing it to the city, right? Now, I will be clear that an example of the tax delinquent that you making monthly payments, that only works if the property is not already up for sheriff sale, right? So if the property is up for sheriff sale already, and it's like there's a sheriff sale due date, typically the sheriff's office wants their payment like right away. So you have to figure out, what's happening with the taxes to see if you have enough time to make a payment arrangement with the city, and go from there.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So interest rates.
Yeah.
What can we say about it, man? So much we can say about interest rates over since we spoke. I'm sure they shot up since then, end of 2021.
Right.
So one of the things we were talking about previously, you were mentioning that the interest rates are having a bit of an impact on your margins. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that, whether, whatever their exit strategy is. So can you talk a bit more about how you've navigated that and push through and still try to make deals work?
Yeah. I mean, I think it comes down to knowing your numbers still, but then realizing that your cash flow may not be where you want it to be, right? So for example, if you're trying to net $400 a month per rental unit, well, after you do a refinance, or let's say you're going straight into a loan for that property, because of the interest rate, maybe your cash flow is only $300 per month. So you could be, biting the bullet on your cash flow. But I think once rates drop down, let's say this summer or the following year, you can always refinance again to get a lower interest rate. So I think right now it is impacting the cash flow, but it's also impacting those that maybe are doing fixing and flipping and their rates are higher than normal. But it comes back to knowing your numbers. You have to make sure that you're buying a good deal and the numbers make sense.
What's up, y'all? Sam here from the Black Real Estate Dialogue podcast. Thank you so much for watching another episode. Definitely take a moment to subscribe. Make sure you like this video. Also, visit our website, blackrealestatedialogue.com, and follow on Instagram @blackrealestatedialogue. Talk to you soon.